Harry is whipped. Do you know the expression whipped?
I'm familiar with the phrase.
I won't use the full expression. But Harry is whipped like no person I think I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I wasn't right from the beginning.
Same
I think
to
poor
you.
Harry is being led around by his nose, okay?
You think it's going to end?
I do. I've been a very good predictor, as you know. I predicted almost everything. It'll end, and it'll end bad. And I wonder if Harry's going to go back on his hands and knees and say, please, you know, I think Harry has been led down a path.
If you were the Queen, is it at the stage now, would you remove their royal title?
I would. The only thing I disagree with the Queen on, probably one of the only things ever, is that I think she should have said, if that's your choice, fine. But you no longer have titles, you no longer... And frankly, don't come around. He has been so disrespectful to the country, and I think he's an embarrassment.
Hey folks, in characteristic bombastic style, former President Donald Trump has unleashed a scathing verbal assault on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, delivering some of his harshest criticism yet of the controversial royal couple. During a no-holds-barred interview that's sending shockwaves through both political and royal circles, the 45th US president didn't mince words as he painted Markle as a manipulative social climber and Harry as her hapless puppet. She's terrible, just awful, Trump declared when asked about the Duchess of Sussex. I knew it from the beginning. You could see it a mile away. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, thank you. Yeah, the former president, who has a long history of feuding with the Sussexes, went even further in his personal attacks, suggesting Markle had deliberately targeted Harry to boost her own profile. Look at what she's done to that family. She comes in, marries the prince, then tries to tear down the whole monarchy. Classic gold digger behavior, if you ask me. Trump saved particular venom for his assessment of Prince Harry's role in the ongoing royal drama, delivering an emasculating critique that's sure to infuriate the Sussex camp. Harry? He's being led around by his nose like a lost puppy, Trump scoffed. You look at him now, compared to how he was. A decorated military officer respected by his country, and now he's just this whining, complaining guy following his wife's every command. It's pathetic, really. The former president's comments come at a particularly sensitive time for the Sussexes, who have seen their popularity dip in recent months amid growing criticism of their simultaneous demands for privacy and lucrative media deals. Trump seemed to relish highlighting these contradictions, mocking their $100 million Netflix deal while claiming to want escape from public scrutiny. They say they want out of the spotlight, then make a whole TV show about their private lives. Give me a break, he said, echoing criticisms made by other high-profile figures like Howard Stern. Trump's history with the Sussexes adds an extra layer of intrigue to his latest broadside. The former president has clashed with the couple multiple times, most notably when Meghan revealed during the 2016 election that she had voted for Hillary Clinton and called Trump's rhetoric divisive. Trump famously fired back at the time, saying he was not a fan of hers either. That feud appears to have only intensified over the years, with Trump now positioning himself as something of a champion for the British monarchy against what he sees as the Sussexes' attempts to undermine it. What they've done to the Queen, God rest her soul, and to the whole royal family is disgraceful, Trump said, his voice rising with apparent genuine anger. You don't air your family's dirty laundry in public like that, especially not for money. That's low-class behavior. His comments tap into a growing sentiment among royal traditionalists who view Harry and Meghan's tell-all approach as a betrayal of royal decorum. Political analysts note that Trump's attack serves multiple purposes beyond personal grievance. By aligning himself with the institution of the monarchy and against its most prominent critics, he reinforces his image as a defender of traditional values, a key part of his political brand. This plays perfectly to his base, explained Dr. Linda Hayes, a political science professor at Georgetown University. It's the perfect storm of defending hierarchy, attacking liberal elites, and positioning himself as the anti-woke warrior. The reaction to Trump's comments has been predictably polarized. Conservative media outlets have amplified his criticisms, while liberal commentators have dismissed them as yet another example of Trump's misogyny and bullying tendencies. The idea that Donald Trump, of all people, is lecturing anyone about respecting institutions or family values is laughable, said MSNBC analyst Rachel Maddow during her Tuesday night night broadcast. On social media, the response has been equally divided. Trump's supporters have rallied behind his comments, with number Trump versus Meghan trending on Twitter X and garnering millions of impressions. Meanwhile, the Sussex's defenders have accused Trump of sexist double standards, pointing out that he's never subjected other controversial royal figures like Prince Andrew to similar scrutiny. Royal experts suggest Trump's intervention could actually backfire by driving more sympathy toward Harry and Meghan among their core supporters. There's no one better at playing the victim than Donald Trump, except maybe Meghan Markle, quipped royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams. This might just give the Sussexes fresh ammunition for their narrative about being unfairly targeted. As the war of words escalates, one thing is clear: the intersection of Trump world and royal world continues to produce some of the most explosive celebrity political drama of our time. With Trump campaigning for a return to the White House and the Sussexes reportedly planning new media projects, this feud shows no signs of cooling down. If anything, observers predict it will only intensify as both sides recognize the value in positioning themselves against each other for their respective audiences. In the end, Trump's latest broadside against Harry and Meghan reveals less about the royal couple and more about the former president's own political strategy. By attacking two of the most polarizing figures in modern royalty, he reinforces his image as a political disruptor while appealing to traditionalist voters on both sides of the Atlantic. As for the Sussexes, they now face the unenviable position of deciding whether to ignore the provocations or respond. Either option carrying significant risks in the high-stakes game of reputation management they've been playing since their royal exit. One thing's certain: in the ongoing saga of Harry and Meghan versus the world, Donald Trump has just ensured the next chapter will be even messier than the last. And for audiences addicted to this real-life royal soap opera, that means the drama and the ratings will only keep climbing.
But it did start this campaign by a US-based think tank who questioned how Harry had been allowed into the US if he'd made the submission. They were questioning, had he lied on his paperwork? Was he given favourable treatment, special dispensation? Anyway, that legal case has been rumbling on for 2 years, but it seems the Duke of Sussex has been given this rather unexpected lifeline by Donald Trump, who, despite having previously said if he was to be re-elected, he would not protect Prince Harry because he had behaved badly. He had betrayed the Queen, he said. But it seems he's done this about turn, because in an interview this weekend with the New York Post, Trump, when asked if he'd intervene in Harry's case, had this to say. He said, "I don't want to do that.
I don't want to deport Harry. I'll leave him alone," Trump said, before adding with typical acerbity, "He's got enough problems with his wife. She's terrible." The remarks, delivered with Trump's signature mix of dismissiveness and provocation, have reignited the long-simmering feud between the former president and the Sussexes, while also raising eyebrows over his unexpected leniency toward Harry. Trump's latest broadside against Meghan Markle is hardly surprising. The two have traded barbs since 2016, when Meghan, then still an actress on Suits, criticized Trump's presidential campaign as divisive and revealed she had voted for Hillary Clinton. Trump, never one to let a slight go unanswered, fired back at the time, declaring he was not a fan of hers either. But his latest comments go further, painting Meghan not just as a political opponent, but as a toxic force in Harry's life. "Look at what she's done to him," Trump said, alluding to Harry's estrangement from the royal family. "He was a respected guy, a military veteran, and now he's just whatever this is." The implication was clear. In Trump's view, Harry has been diminished by his marriage, reduced from a war hero and prince to a sidelined figure in Meghan's narrative. What's more surprising, however, is Trump's assertion that he would not pursue deportation proceedings against Harry, a threat that had been floated by some conservative commentators given the prince's past admissions of drug use in his memoir Spare, which could theoretically complicate his US visa status. "I'm not going to make it my problem," Trump said, though he couldn't resist adding a jab. He's got enough going on over there with the Netflix deals and the complaining. The remark underscores Trump's knack for blending apparent magnanimity with a backhanded insult. Harry can stay, but only because his life is already, in Trump's estimation, a mess. The interview has predictably drawn fierce reactions from both sides of the political and royal commentary divide. Trump's supporters have cheered his his refusal to mince words, with some far-right commentators seizing on his critique of Meghan as validation of their long-held view that she manipulated Harry into abandoning his royal duties. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' defenders have accused Trump of misogyny, pointing out that his vitriol toward Meghan far exceeds any criticism he's leveled at Harry, despite both being equally vocal about their grievances with the monarchy. It's classic Trump punching down at a woman while giving the man a pass, said one liberal commentator on MSNBC. Royal experts, however, note that Trump's comments may inadvertently help the Sussexes by reinforcing their narrative of being unfairly targeted by powerful figures. Harry and Meghan have built their brand on the idea that they're truth-tellers persecuted by the establishment, said royal biographer Tom Quinn. When someone like Trump attacks Meghan so personally, it plays right into their victim storyline. Indeed, the couple's most loyal supporters have already begun framing Trump's remarks as evidence of the systemic backlash they face for challenging traditional power structures. Yet Trump's critique also taps into a broader skepticism about the Sussexes, particularly in the US, where their popularity has waned amid perceptions of hypocrisy. Their lucrative media deals, including a reported $100 million Netflix contract and Harry's tell-all memoir, have led many to question whether they truly want privacy or simply wish to monetize their grievances. Trump's terrible jab, while hyperbolic, echoes a sentiment felt by some Americans who've grown weary of the couple's simultaneous condemnation of fame and reliance on celebrity. The former president's comments also carry a whiff of irony given his own fraught relationship with the British monarchy. Trump has long styled himself as a defender of the crown, praising Queen Elizabeth II as a great woman and forging an unlikely alliance with Brexit-boosting politicians like Nigel Farage. Yet his attacks on Meghan, a biracial American who married into the royal family, risk alienating the very traditionalist he claims to admire. The monarchy has survived by avoiding messy public feuds, said royal historian Ed Owens. Trump dragging Harry and Meghan into the US culture wars is the last thing the palace wants. As the 2024 election looms, Trump's latest salvo ensures that the Sussexes remain a cultural flashpoint in American politics. For Trump, the attack serves multiple purposes. It energizes his base, positions him as a defender of traditional values, and keeps him in the headlines. For Harry and Meghan, it's another reminder that their every move will be politicized, whether they like it or not. One thing is certain, Trump's terrible verdict on Meghan won't be the last word in this saga. As long as the Sussexes remain in the public eye, their critics and defenders will keep fighting over their legacy. And if Trump returns to the White House, Harry may yet find himself grateful for one small mercy, at least deportations off the table, for now.
Harry is whipped. Do you know the expression
I'm
whipped?
familiar with the phrase.
I won't use the full expression. But Harry is whipped like no person I think I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I wasn't right from the beginning.
Same
I think
to
poor
you.
Harry is being led around by his nose, okay?
You think it's going to end?
I do. I've been a very good predictor, as you know. I predicted almost everything. It'll end, and it'll end bad.
In his latest no-holds-barred interview with Piers Morgan, former President Donald Trump unleashed a fresh torrent of criticism against Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, delivering his most scathing assessment yet of their marriage and future. Never one to mince words, Trump painted a bleak picture of the Sussexes' relationship, suggesting Harry has become subservient to Meghan and darkly predicting their union is headed for disaster. He's whipped, Trump declared bluntly, using characteristically undiplomatic language to describe the dynamic between the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I think it will end bad, really bad. The explosive comments made during Trump's sit-down with Morgan, a longtime critic of Meghan himself, add fuel to the fiery discourse surrounding the controversial royal couple. Trump's assessment goes beyond mere political disagreement, delving into deeply personal territory as he essentially forecasts the collapse of Harry and Meghan's marriage. His choice of words, particularly the charged term whipped, suggests an emasculating dynamic in which he believes Harry has surrendered all agency to his wife. This aligns with Trump's previous comments about the couple, including his infamous 2023 remark that Meghan was terrible and that Harry was led around by his nose. Trump's prediction of marital doom comes at a particularly vulnerable time for the Sussexes, who have faced increasing scrutiny over their professional setbacks and shifting public perception. Their $20 million Spotify deal collapsed after just one season of Meghan's podcast Archetypes, and their Netflix partnership has reportedly been scaled back amid creative differences. Meanwhile, their approval ratings in both the US and UK have steadily declined, with recent polls showing a majority of Americans now view them unfavorably. Against this backdrop, Trump's grim prophecy carries added weight, tapping into a growing sentiment that the couple's fairy tale narrative is unraveling. The former president's critique extends beyond personal dynamics to question the Sussexes' broader life choices. Look at what he gave up, Trump said of Harry's decision to step back from royal duties. He had everything: family, country, respect. Now he's in California doing what? Making reality shows? This barb references the couple's Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, which broke streaming records but was widely criticized for its perceived hypocrisy, railing against media intrusion while inviting cameras into their private lives. Trump's comments echo a common criticism of the couple, that their quest for privacy has been undermined by their willingness to monetize their personal story. What makes Trump's latest attack particularly potent is his audience. Morgan, the interviewer, has been one of Meghan's most vocal detractors since her split from the royal family, famously walking off his ITV show in 2021 after dismissing her claims about mental health struggles. By airing his grievances on Morgan's platform, Trump ensures his message will reach an audience already predisposed to skepticism about the Sussexes. The interview has already gone viral, with clips circulating widely among both supporters who cheer Trump's bluntness and critics who decry it as misogynistic. Psychologists note that Trump's language, particularly his use of terms like whipped, reflects traditionalist views of gender roles that may resonate with his base, but alienate younger, more progressive audiences. The suggestion that Harry is somehow less of a man for being emotionally open or supportive of his wife is a very outdated perspective, says Dr. Emily Parker, a relationship expert at UCLA, but it's calculated to appeal to a certain demographic that sees Meghan as emasculating Harry by being strong-willed. Royal commentators point out that Trump's intervention is particularly awkward for the palace, as it drags the Sussexes back into the political arena, precisely what the royal family tries to avoid. The monarchy has survived by staying above partisan politics, notes historian Sarah Gristwood. Having a former US president weigh in on royal family dynamics is a nightmare scenario for Buckingham Palace. For Harry and Meghan, Trump's latest broadside presents a dilemma. Responding would only amplify his comments, but staying silent risks letting the narrative take hold. Their supporters have already mobilized on social media, accusing Trump of sexism and racism in his treatment of Meghan. The coded language about a strong woman controlling her husband has uncomfortable racial undertones when directed at a biracial woman, tweeted activist Brittany Packnett Cunningham. As the 2024 election looms, Trump's comments ensure the Sussexes remain unwilling participants in America's culture wars. His prediction of their marriage's demise, whether prescient or purely provocative, has guaranteed that every future stumble will be viewed through the lens of his prophecy. One thing is certain, in the high-stakes drama of Harry and Meghan's post-royal life, Trump has just ensured the next act will be even more contentious than the last. Whether his dire prediction comes true remains to be seen, but the damage to their public image may already be done.
And Meghan Markle chimed in on the U.S. election and essentially encouraged people to vote for Joe Biden. I want to get your reaction to that.
I'm not a fan of hers. And I would say this, and she probably has heard that, but I wish a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
Former President Donald Trump has launched a scathing rebuke of Prince Harry after the Duke of Sussex made remarks that many interpreted as veiled criticism of Trump and implicit support for President Joe Biden in the upcoming US election. The extraordinary intervention by a senior British royal, albeit one who has stepped back from official duties into American politics, has ignited a firestorm, with Trump accusing Harry of meddling in affairs he doesn't understand and warning of consequences should the Republican return to the White House. The controversy erupted during a high-profile public appearance where Harry, alongside Meghan Markle, spoke about the importance of protecting democracy and rejecting hate speech in what political analysts viewed as thinly veiled jabs at Trump's campaign rhetoric. While Harry never mentioned Trump by name, his comments about the dangers of divisive politics and leadership that prioritizes people over power were widely interpreted as aligning with Democratic talking points. This subtle foray into U.S. electoral politics marks a dramatic departure from royal protocol, even for the renegade Sussexes, and has drawn fierce backlash from conservatives on both sides of the Atlantic. Trump responded with characteristic fury during a rally in Michigan, where he told supporters, "We don't need lectures from some washed-up prince who turned his back on his own country." The crowd erupted as Trump continued. He's been totally controlled by his wife, who's trying to play political activist while living in a $14 million mansion. Maybe Harry should focus on getting his family to speak to him again instead of telling Americans how to vote. The remarks underscore how Harry and Meghan's comments have been weaponized in an already volatile election cycle, transforming the couple into unlikely culture war symbols. Royal experts are sounding alarms about the unprecedented nature of a royal, even a non-working one, being drawn so directly into U.S. partisan politics. The monarchy has survived for centuries by remaining strictly neutral, said historian Hugo Vickers. For a prince, even one no longer carrying out duties, to wade into American politics is extraordinarily dangerous territory. The British press has reacted with particular fury, with the Daily Mail running the headline, "Harry the Hypocrite," and pointing out the irony of an aristocrat who benefits from hereditary privilege lecturing on democracy. The White House has remained conspicuously silent on the controversy, though sources close to the Biden campaign privately acknowledged the Sussexes' comments could prove politically problematic. While Democrats welcome any celebrity endorsement in a tight race, having a British royal, however distant from the throne, appear to take sides risks galvanizing Trump's base and reinforcing Republican narratives about liberal elitism. This plays right into Trump's America First messaging, warned Democratic strategist James Carville. The last thing we need is footage of a British prince seeming to tell Americans how to vote. For Harry and Meghan, the backlash represents yet another reputational challenge as they attempt to carve out their post-royal identities. Their recent rebranding efforts, including the launch of their new website Sussex.com and various philanthropic initiatives, have been met with skepticism from critics who accuse them of wanting to retain royal prestige without the responsibilities. This latest controversy threatens to further cement their image as out-of-touch celebrities rather than serious public figures. Trump's allies are already seizing on the moment, with plans to use Harry's comments in campaign ads portraying Democrats as the party of foreign elites. Americans won't take kindly to a British prince who abandoned his grandmother's legacy now trying to influence our democracy, said Senator J.D. Vance R. Ohio, a potential Trump running mate. The Republican National Committee has begun circulating clips of Harry's 2020 comments criticizing Trump's divisive rhetoric alongside footage of violent protests during Biden's presidency. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' supporters argue their comments were taken out of context. They were speaking broadly about Democratic values, not endorsing any candidate, insisted a source close to the couple. But the damage may already be done, with Trump's forceful response ensuring the story dominates news cycles on both sides of the Atlantic. As the 2024 campaign intensifies, this remarkable collision of royalty and American politics has created an unpredictable new variable in an already chaotic election year. One thing is certain, Harry and Meghan's attempt to position themselves as global humanitarians has instead plunged them back into controversy, proving once again that for the Sussexes, there's no such thing as an uncontroversial move, especially when Donald Trump is watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to leave your thought in the comment section. Thanks for watching.